Hello and welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network special interview. Joining me today is the owner and president of the premier independent professional wrestling promotion in Ontario. Very happy to welcome to the show, Emilio Albi. Emilio, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Lewis, thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you. Huge news within the last 48 hours. Huge main event coming up for Haywire on March 12th. Going to be a big show. Steve Maclin defending the Destiny Wrestling World Championship against Trent Seven. My goodness, how did you get that together, man?
Oh, a lot of back and forth. The best thing about the wrestling community and where we are, working with Santino and Iceman, who previously owned Destiny. I've been trying to put together some really, really good main events for the show. So I reach out and I try to get help where it's needed. And I knew Trent was a guy that I wanted to bring back to Destiny because the last show that he was supposed to come back, he couldn't because the pandemic started. And I just figured there was no better opponent for Steve Maclin's first title defense than Trent. And, we back and forth a little bit of a time difference. We were able to work it out, and now we have ourselves one heck of a main event come March 12th.
Man, you're right. One hell of a main event. So, have you estimated the damage that you're going to have to pay for? Because there's not going to be a roof left on the Don Karlov Arena. So, how much have you estimated that you're going to have to pay to repair that roof, man?
It's going to be crazy because I am getting so many messages. So many people are just commenting on it, and it's crazy. With the Destiny socials, Instagram being one of them, people, the blue check marks, as I like to call them. And those are the people that have, verified themselves that are either, in acting, political, professional sports, or whatever. There are so many blue check marks that are liking that main event, and people messaging me privately telling me that is just really, really good booking. And, I'm just getting the hang of it. And I'm starting to get a feel of what the fans want. And I'm just trying to provide the very best match card that we can for the fans.
Yeah, well, that's, like I said, one hell of a main event. Now, Steve Maclin winning the belt from Aiden Prince on the last show. New begin. Do you have an update on the injured Aiden Prince?
So I talked to Aiden. He had surgery on Thursday. Surgery was a success, and he is now at home recovering.
Okay.
So I believe he's off his feet for 5 to 6 weeks before he goes back in and gets checked out. And if all goes well, I believe the doctors are going to let him start rehabbing slowly.
So once he's able to come back, is he going to get a title shot right off the bat?
We'll see. We'll see. I will say this: Summer Heat is August 20th, and that's kind of in line when he may be able to step back into a ring.
Okay, well, he was on such a hot streak, and he'll be hotter than ever when he comes back. So I'm sure he'll be back before we know it. So Steve Maclin, Destiny Wrestling World Champion. I know you're a fan of Steve Maclin. So what does Steve Maclin bring to Destiny Wrestling?
He brings character to the brand. You see Steve Maclin in front of the camera, and he is absolutely his character of tag him and bag him. He is hard mouth, smash mouth, in your face, in the ring. He executes great. He's a rising star. Well, I shouldn't say he's a rising star anymore. He is a star in Impact Wrestling. And it's only a matter of time until he gets his hands on the former Destiny World Heavyweight Champion, current Impact Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander. So how crazy is it that Macklin now has one of the titles that Josh once held, and now the direction of Impact looks like Macklin. He's beating all these former world champions, and Josh, I know, is next on his list.
Yeah, that's going to be a great match. I'm glad they're not rushing that. It's a slow build, but once it happens, it's going to be an explosive match. Macklin against Josh Alexander.
I'm thinking it might happen in Toronto in April.
That would be that. I would have to come down for that one. Then I would definitely have to come down for that one. Speaking of Josh Alexander, I was going to wait to ask this question later, but you brought him up. He was a regular for the past owner, George the Iceman, Destiny Wrestling. Is he part of your plans in Destiny Wrestling? Are we going to see Josh Alexander in under your Destiny Wrestling?
myself as a booker, myself as a fan, the answer is yes.
Okay.
The reality of it is now, if you look at Josh's socials and calendar, he's all over the place. Like he was just recently in the UK. I know he has dates booked in Australia. He has dates booked, I believe, in Mexico. I believe he's going to Japan. So he's at that level right now where I don't think he really soaked in what it was he actually was to the professional wrestling business. I don't think it hit him because being Canadian is a little bit different. We don't get the exposure that all these Americans get. We really have to fight for everything we do. And here we are in Toronto, Ontario at the Don Kolov Arena. And people may have not realized it, but we had one of the very best wrestlers in the world come whenever shows were being run, whether it be every 6 weeks, every 3 months, every 2 months, and they got to see him live.
Yeah.
And the one thing about Josh is you see him on Impact, he goes 100%. You see him in Destiny Ring, he goes 100%. You see him in a small little town with 120 fans in the building, he goes 100%. He is by far the very, very best. There are people that are, trying to get to his level, Mike Bailey being one of them. I wonder if we'll see him in a Destiny Ring maybe soon.
Okay.
But there is some, he is the very best that is out there. And never say never, but I know his schedule is very hectic. So I imagine if the dates align, we could see something.
Okay. And I agree with you. And you're calling him one of the not one of, but the best wrestler in the world. He's absolutely become the best wrestler in the world. Definitely top three. Definitely top three.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, man.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. And you don't really understand just how incredible he is until you actually get to watch one of his matches over again. And you just see it. Everything is perfection in the ring.
Absolutely. Well, back to Haywire, which is again March 12th. It's a month from now. Well, exactly 1 month from today.
Yep.
Returning to Destiny, a great tag team, Sabotage, Justin Newhook, Matt Connors. What do you have in store for them? Because they're one of my favorite tag teams in Ontario, and I'm glad they're coming back to Destiny. But what do you have in store for them?
They're gonna have themselves a big match. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't release too much information right now.
Okay, I'm trying, but
no, I know. But there's a big announcement coming tomorrow.
Okay.
That I've had to make a very tough decision here, and there is going to be an announcement coming tomorrow. But we will see Sabotage in tag team action.
Okay.
And they will be facing a premier tag team, and it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a really, really, really good show. And after Monday evening, things will be a lot more clear for everybody as to what's happening in Destiny. But I've seen them before. They've wrestled in Destiny before. I believe they're two tremendous talents, and they're just buried way out on the east coast of Canada. And again, I believe I'm going to be able to provide a platform for those individuals who are buried in corners of the country, not only in Canada, but also the US, and hopefully be able to provide a very good platform. With us, signing on with IWTV and other things that we have planned, I think we're going to get Canadians noticed in the US and in the UK with what we have planned coming up with this current year.
That's awesome. And of course, it's Devon Dudley, his sons, Madman Fulton, Tarek, Alexi, and Nicole. You're really putting together a stack show. So I'm looking forward to that announcement tomorrow to see what it's a match announcement, right? Tomorrow?
Yes. Well, there's an announcement coming this evening after this is released.
Okay.
You know what? I'll break the announcement right now.
All right. There we go. We got an exclusive. Go ahead. Go for it.
But we are going to have a rematch from Heatwave last summer. It is going to be Tarek versus Madman Fulton 2 inside the Don Kolov Arena at Destiny Haywire.
My very next question was, if I was you, I'd put Tarek against Madman Fulton. That was I'm serious. That was my very next question. And that's going to be an absolutely hard-hitting, incredible matchup.
It is going to be incredible. Those two gentlemen are going to smash one another and really put on a show for the fans.
All right, there you go, Madman Fulton. You heard it here first, right on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. The Tarek 101 against Madman Fulton rematch from what was it? Summer Heatwave?
No, it was Heatwave.
Heatwave
last summer.
Heatwave last summer. All right, so you've had numerous Impact stars on your shows. You had Motor City Machine Guns, of course, Steve Maclin, Aiden Prince signed to Impact Wrestling. How would you describe your relationship with Impact Wrestling?
I believe there's a respect between each other. Um, as for getting a chance to sit down and talk with Scott, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
I know him and Iceman had a very, very good relationship in the past. I would like to continue that relationship with them, but I'm the new guy, right? I'm the new guy. What's going on? What are you doing with Destiny? What's happening? Um, so they are running the show in Windsor late in March, and then they're also running Rebellion in Toronto. I'm hoping while they are in Toronto, that will be my opportunity to get to talk with Scott face to face. So I talked to Scott before as George's partner, but now I'll be able to talk to Scott as the sole owner of Destiny, and see if there is something that can possibly cross over, happen, help them with their shows when they're in the city and whatnot. Maybe he can showcase one or two local Canadian talents and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm open to working with absolutely everybody, to be honest with you. I believe if the wrestling business is strong as a whole, then everyone's strong together.
absolutely. So are you coming down for the Windsor show, or you're just gonna?
Windsor, I won't be, but
Okay,
I'll be waiting for that Toronto show. Actually, I might come down to Windsor because I might come down and chill with Aiden for a little bit,
okay.
and get a chance, just to sit around and not really talk wrestling, but to see how he's doing, how his rehab's coming, and stuff like that.
All right, fair enough. Could you see Destiny becoming like a developmental promotion for Impact Wrestling, or you wouldn't want to go that route?
I would like to see Destiny become a developmental for all the big promotions.
Okay.
Um, I the one thing that I will say is that I'm looking at Canada as a whole, that there's just so much great talent that I would love to get through the ropes in a Destiny ring to showcase their talents. Other promotions are doing different things now, such as YouTube shows and everything like that. And I think it's absolutely fantastic because you have to start somewhere, and just our talent needs to get recognized. Our talent needs to get booked in the States. It can't always be that we're booking American talent on Canadian shows, because right now I think the crossover is for every 10 Americans that come across, only one Canadian gets booked down south. I want to change that. I want to have, if 10 Americans are coming north, 10 Canadians are going south. I believe we're very talented. We have some of the very best, and we have some good trainers up here in Canada, and there's a lot of good, young, hungry talent that really wants to get themselves out there.
So what do you look for in potential talent for Destiny Wrestling?
So I'm a big late 80s, early 90s guy.
Okay.
So for me, it's about character. I say this all the time, and some people disagree with me, but people only care so much about what's happening in the ring. So nowadays, people like, what do they call it? Flippy shit. They
Yeah.
like spots. They love all of that stuff, but there's no story when all that stuff is going on. So if you're not doing that, you lose some of the fan reaction, because the fans need to be invested in your character. And for me, the first real big one that I remember was Razor Ramon. They shot vignettes of Razor for almost 5 weeks before he showed up.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and I wanted to be that guy, but I also hated that guy. And when he showed up, you knew who he was already and where his character was going. So you were already invested in him before he showed up on TV. So my goal with Destiny is with talents that we're bringing in, is I want to shoot those same vignettes, and so that we can post them on our socials and our IWTV feed and stuff like that. So the fans are already invested in the character when it shows up. Not that we just throw a new body at them that they don't really know. And I'm talking about this for up and coming guys. When we brought in Blake Christian, we didn't need to shoot any of those type of vignettes because everyone knew who Blake Christian was based on his work in the US scene, and he's been in WWE, NXT, and Impact and stuff like that. So it's introducing the character to have the fans fully invested in, so that when they do show up for a show in a Destiny ring, the fans already know whether or not they want to cheer or boo the gentleman or lady.
There's one guy actually on the U.S. indie scene that I think is the best on the indie scene right now. I'm going to say his name, and you can let me know if he's on your radar. Alec Price.
I've been looking at him.
Okay.
He is very, very, very talented. It's I don't think he's there yet. I believe he's getting there.
Okay.
I just don't think he's there yet, but he is getting close. He is one of probably 40 names on my list that I'm keeping an eye on.
Okay.
But yeah, if I'm gonna give a spot like that to a young up and comer, it's gonna go to one of our homegrown talents that I want to get more exposure for, because they don't have the same opportunity that some of these guys in the US have.
So you say you have a top 40 list. Am I on that list? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I prefer sitting behind the microphone. I don't want to get. I
I
don't want to
prefer
get.
watching and putting together the shows rather than trying to sit there and get in the ring myself.
There we go. There we go. So you recently purchased Destiny from George the Iceman. What made you want to get into the pro wrestling business, or were you in the business before you
So
purchased?
I was an investor partner since I want to say that actually I think tomorrow is my 1 year anniversary, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Um,
congratulations.
thank you. And it just came to the point where, you know, I don't want to say it was communication error between George and I, but he's doing a lot of stuff right now down south. He does a lot of stuff for Impact on their digital media side. He has a watch along with Josh where they do the retro series. He's doing a lot of stuff there, and I really know he's done such a great job with Destiny for 8 straight years that it just came time that he wanted to go, get himself to the next level with one of the big three. You know what I mean? And by big three, I mean Impact, AEW, and WWE. So I believe he has some opportunity. I actually know he has some opportunity. I don't want to announce it. I want to wait until it's official and let him announce it. So it was a matter of, does he put, Destiny on hiatus? Does he maybe try to run a show like once every 6 months? So when we were talking, I was like, George, listen, let's talk, behind the scenes with some numbers and stuff. But I love Destiny. I came and supported the shows. I've been a fan of wrestling as a whole since I was a kid. I was like, let me run with it. I've been in business forever. I met George when I was in the nightclub business and stuff like that. I had a few nightclubs in Toronto and around Ontario. I said, just let me go. And let me tell you, I thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it was. It was a smack in the face my first show, but
Okay.
I'm understanding it. I love how respectful everyone is backstage and in the whole wrestling community as a whole. There's a few bad apples in there, but generally most of them are really, really good, and I'm really enjoying the whole camaraderie thing of what the business is.
So being the sole owner, what would you say is the most difficult part of running a promotion?
Making sure that you can give the fans value for their money.
Okay.
Coming up with stories is great. You have to make sure dates work. So when I'm booking talent, I'm trying to book them for more than just one show. So I give them dates in a row. So Steve Maclin, we already had a bunch of dates set up for him. Obviously, with the title change, we've had to move some things around and whatnot. But it's like, it's hard because I part of wrestling to me is the storyline that keeps people invested in what's happening. And if we think about WWE for the past over a year now, what they're doing with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, like it has been must watch TV.
Yeah.
And that's what I want our fans to feel, whether they're in, at one of our live events or they're watching on IWTV. I want them to grasp what's happening, not only in the ring, but backstage with the interviews and vignettes of introducing new talent. I want the whole story to make sense. So I don't want to bring too many people in just for one-offs. Now they're here, now they're gone. We will have that because sometimes that's all you can do, and you do want to bring the very best talent into Destiny. But I do want to give people a show. I do want to give them, the to be continued, where they must tune in the following week to see what's happening.
Well, you said you want to bring in the very best. I'm a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling Noah, DDD Pro. Could we see many stars from any of those promotions ever hitting Destiny?
So let's just say I've already reached out to a handful of them.
Okay.
And again, so now the business side, if we get away from the promoting side, but the business aspect of it, flights from Japan aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
So when you are talking to guys like, maybe let's just say you've reached out to a Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
Let's just say you've reached out to a Suzuki.
Hmm.
Let's just say you've reached out to a Marufuji.
Okay.
When you reach out to them, you want to find out if they have any North American dates.
Okay.
Kushida, like there's another one. And you want to see if they have some North American dates. This way here, you already know that they're here. So you can talk to the other promotion that they're working with about getting them to the show. So will there be talent from Japan coming over? 100%, because I believe that's something that hasn't been done yet in Toronto, Ontario, really. So, and again, it's something that I want to do, and it could be something where Destiny sets up a 3-show tour over the weekend, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, where it makes sense. Like bringing Trent in from the UK, again, flights from the UK, especially where he's from, aren't cheap. So you have to do some things to make it worthwhile. And I do believe, and I don't want to announce that, but I do believe Trent's going to be doing some teaching while he's here in Toronto.
Okay.
So again, you find things for the talent to do so that things become more feasible and you're able to present the best product for your fans.
Well, I'll go one name for you: Katsuhiko Nakajima, Pro
Yes.
Wrestling Noah.
I couldn't pronounce his name, which is why I didn't say it, but he's on. Like I said, there's a list of people that I've reached out to in the UK and Japan. It's crazy.
So are you going to be running shows outside of Toronto? Is that the plan?
Yes.
I know we spoke about this personally, but is that still the plan?
June 17th, Seaway Valley Wrestling and Destiny Wrestling will be co-producing a show in Cornwall.
There you go. There you go. So I actually was going to ask about Seaway Valley Wrestling, but you must be reading my mind, man. Or do you have a copy of my questions, sir?
Yeah, I think I do. It's the camera. It's tilted down. I'm able to see
gosh, I better block it. Yeah. So Canada doesn't have a national promotion. The US does, Mexico does, but not Canada. Do you think you would ever attempt to make Destiny Wrestling the national promotion of Canada?
Now I'm starting to think you're following me around with some of the people I've been talking to.
I might be. I might be fly on the wall.
Yeah, so there are things that are being talked about right now. Of course, there's lots of hurdles and legalities and everything like that to go through. But we are talking about doing a lot of things. Because like you said, Canada doesn't really have that national promotion. And there's a lot of good ones out there. And just in Toronto alone, if you think about the different promotions, you have Greektown, you have, you have Super Kicked.
Yeah.
You have the Lucha one. So there's just so much, that fans can get a hold of, and different styles. Like our style at Destiny is way different than the style at Superkick. And it's not that their style is no good. It works for them. It works very, very well. Right. Greektown puts on a different show than the other two companies. The Lucha company puts on a different show than the other companies. So there's lots of companies that are doing something different, which is good because it gives the fans a chance to see more different styles of wrestling. And there are some good promotions all throughout the country. So would we all compete to try to be that one promotion? 100%. Do I feel we should all work together to give, the talent that we have some of the very best opportunities? 100%. Will you see more cross-branded shows? We should. I know on my end, I'm open for business with absolutely anyone if it makes sense. Because I believe you can give some fans some unique experiences and stuff like that. And it comes down to the fans. As much as you can call myself the owner, the president, the booker, whatever you want to call it is, we're trying to put on a show for the fans. Because I'll tell you, I don't think I've watched one full match on show day because I just don't have the time. And, we booked the Motor City Machine Guns against Fight or Flight at our last show. All I'm hearing is crowd reactions in the arena. And I'm backstage with Aiden. We're waiting for the ambulance to come and trying to, secure his leg.
Yeah.
And, you hear those reactions. I can't wait until I get the video sent to me so I can watch that match.
There you go.
So I'm a fan myself, so I want to see these matches as well.
So, are we going to see the Motor City Machine Guns back in Destiny?
I hope.
Okay.
I hope. Like they're two very, very great, solid guys. And again, it's just scheduling. I don't want to give the fans too much right away. And they were just here. I'm assuming they'll be back in April since they are the Impact champions. I know Alex Shelley, I believe, is in London the same day as my show, March 12th. So there's I don't want to overdo the fans with the same talent, but at the same time, when you have top tier talent like that, you want to get them back to your show because they're just great and they put on such a clinic in the ring.
If I may ask, Jordan Oliver was actually originally booked for the last show. Um, are we going to see Jordan Oliver back? And he just won the Jersey J Cup, which was a great event. Could we see him eventually in Destiny? I'm sure the answer is yes, but I'll let you answer.
Yeah, the answer is yes. There was just people have come up to me and said, "What happened? Did he pull out? There was just a little bit of chaos going on at the time, and the match just had to change. Unfortunately, it was his match that had to change. But again, he's a great talent. He's probably going to be one of the top talent over the next few years. I see him more as a tag team, top tag team with Nick Wayne than anything else. And who knows? Maybe we'll see the Motor City Machine Guns against Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne in the future in a Destiny ring.
Wow, that would be amazing. That would be
amazing.
Be
a crazy match.
The roof would get blown off again. You're gonna have to pay for that roof a couple of times.
I have to do an outdoor show.
Yeah, do it outdoor. Knock down the spy balloon or something with the shows. That was a bad joke. I apologize.
Yeah. Apparently, we just shot down another one last night, so we're at 3 of them now.
Yeah, we're at 3. Yeah. So you mentioned IWTV, which is huge. When is the debut show going to air on IWTV?
I'm hoping by the end of February. So it's in editing. We didn't have commentators for that show. Unfortunately, Santino was sick.
Okay.
So we are doing post-production on that one right now. The show's been edited. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing the commentating on it. The second show will be ready to go right after. So the problem is, and part of my learning curve is I didn't have the commentary set up properly to succeed at the last show. They called the whole show. Travis is telling me it's great, who does all my editing, but we didn't set it up to do weekly shows. So we're going to dump the whole 2-hour show onto IWTV, which will lose people's interest and stuff like that, but that's fine. That's the way it's going up. But we are going to do weekly shows, and they're going to be about 30 to 40 minutes. And again, it's learning something new to give the commentators their cues and everything like that. Because even though we'll shoot one day, we'll present it in 4 different shows, and we'll also throw in something from the library as well, almost like a retro rewind, so fans can see some of the talent that we've had here before that are now on national television. Like Destiny people have stepped into a Destiny ring, and 3 months later are on TV, signed to a huge contract. Shotzi Blackheart, day after a show, got signed. Wow. Josh Alexander got signed to Impact in the ring at Destiny. Yeah. Mike Bailey in the ring at Destiny. Daddy Magic, he got signed. He was, wrestling out of the Don Kolov arena. MJF wrestled in a Destiny ring. There's so many top stars have wrestled in a Destiny ring. It's been incredible.
So do you have plans for a live IWTV show? I know they do live events.
Summer Heat in August.
Summer Heat in August. Is that another exclusive I'm getting right here?
You're getting it first. You're getting it first. August 20th, Summer Heat will be done live on IWTV.
Okay, awesome. 2 more questions. One, you mentioned you hope to speak to Scott D'Amore. Is one of the questions you're going to ask him, if you could run a show in Windsor? Is that going to be one of your questions?
Maybe.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Maybe. I wouldn't go there without his blessing. That's for sure.
Of course.
But yeah, it could be one of the questions that can Destiny come visit Windsor, Ontario.
Okay, and the last question: Who do you got for the Super Bowl today, or I should say the American Grey Cup? Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I dislike both teams, to be honest with you. I am choosing Philly for the simple fact I don't like KC because they've knocked my Bills out 2 years in a row. Okay. They didn't this year. We knocked ourselves out pretty much. But, KC's knocked out my team 2 years in a row. Mahomes, we traded that draft pick to Kansas City at the time. So I'm going Philly, but I have a lot of friends who like Philly, and I'm telling them I hope Philly loses. So my answer is going to be like Christian McCaffrey said. I want both teams to lose in the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, I'm going with the Chiefs because Eagles knocked out my Giants, so I'm hoping the Chiefs win. Yeah. Well, Emilio, thank you so much for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure talking to you. Haywire on March 12th in at the Don Carlo Arena, Mississauga. If you're in the area, definitely go check it out. It's gonna be a great show, and I'd love to have you back very, very soon.
100%. Anyone watching the show, come follow us on our socials. We're Destiny World Wrestling on Instagram, Destiny Wrestling on Facebook. We're Destiny World Wrestling on YouTube. You definitely want to subscribe to that channel, as we will be releasing some great matches with guys like Ryback and Josh and Sammy Callahan, and there's just so many more. Trent and Tyler Bates matches. So you might want to follow us there to keep updated on everything that's going on. Definitely keep an eye on our socials over the next 48 to 72 hours as we announce some bombshells and as well some more matches that are going to be going on at Haywire. And yeah, you know, if you get a chance to come out to one of the shows, come out to one of the shows. We do everything that we can, and the talent does everything they possibly can to have all the fans go home happy. Whether you're happy booing your most hated guy or cheering on your most favorite.
And before we actually go, there's an Aiden Prince T-shirt that people could purchase to help Aiden Prince. Do you want to mention that?
100%. You can go on our socials, click on the link at Revelry for Aiden Prince, or you can go to the Revelry website and type in Aiden Prince, and the link will pop up. It's a shirt that he hasn't really released anything in the last 3 years, so it's kind of his first shirt that we're putting out there. All proceeds are going to Aiden during this time for medical expenses, travel, and everything like that, because he isn't able to move around or get anywhere. And as a community, we want to help and we want to see everyone succeed. The shirts are doing very, very well. There are a lot of shirts being sold, whether they're going to be picked up March 12th or delivered. So if you get a chance, if you help support, our local talent. Aiden's a great guy. He puts on a show for everyone all over the province of Ontario. You've definitely seen it before. It's a cool looking shirt. It's a nice shirt. It's not a cheap material shirt. And like I said, all proceeds are going to Aiden on this T-shirt, and it's like I said, it's to help with all the bills and so on and so forth he's going to face over the next 6 months.
That's awesome, man. Well, again, Emilio, thank you so much for joining me. Let's just do this again real soon, and lots of luck on March 12th. I know Destiny is going to just have a stacked, amazing show on March 12th. So good luck on March 12th, and enjoy the Super Bowl.
Awesome. You too, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.